In this episode, I was joined by Keith, aka KO Ninja, one of the co-founders of the Hyde Park Ninjas. KO has been playing Upland since January 2022 after being introduced to the platform by fellow co-founder Sckicker, whom I chatted with in the last episode of this series. As mentioned previously, this chat is the second discussion in what will be a three-part series featuring the Hyde Park Ninjas, with the next episode focusing on the wide variety of ways that Sckicker and KO Ninja are engaged in and around the Upland Metaverse. Today, however, we focused on discussing some aspects of KO's personal history and interest in Upland, including his insights and opinions on a few of the contemporary Upland happenings and events, which I hope you'll enjoy. As you would probably expect, the Hyde Park Ninjas have a very well balanced and positive outlook on most of the goings on in Upland. And from my perspective, I appreciate how the Ninjas' critical feedback is always constructive and aimed at cutting through the chaos with calm precision. That was definitely showcased in today's chat with KO Ninja, with balance in every move and positivity in every step. KO is an inspiring example of what can be achieved when you focus on staying sharp and slicing through the obstacles in the metaverse and beyond.
Warning, the information and opinions within are solely the views of the individuals involved, contains content not suitable for anyone.
All right, thank you very much, and welcome back to part two of a bit of a spotlight into the Hyde Park Ninjas. Today we've got Keith Olsen, KO Ninja. How are we doing this afternoon? Your turn. Your time, mate.
Doing great. Yeah, just got done doing some jiu-jitsu and taekwondo classes for the day, and yeah, been looking forward to this interview and getting to hang out with you. So yeah, I appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, it's been a while coming, so it's good to sit down finally. Trying to deal with schedules is never fun. You got a lot going on, especially like in real life situation, work and everything else that's going on in the world. And yeah, same here. So
Absolutely.
very good. All right. Well, just to kind of ease us into things, I was sitting down watching, which I never do, was watching some free to air TV or whatever you want to call it. I was watching some racing highlights last night for one of the big races that's happening in Australia at the moment, the motor races, the Bathurst 1000. And there was like an ad for some news program, and it was Elon Musk and what he's doing with new robots and stuff. Did you see this yesterday? And it's kicking off in the news.
I missed it. I've been pretty busy the last day or two, but I missed that.
It's wild. I couldn't believe this when I saw it. So there's a few different things that he's got going on here. You know, talk about busy. I mean, the stuff that he's got going on, but there's this new kind of Cybertruck thing that's a autonomous taxi. So that looked pretty cool. It just pulls up and you get in, and it's like a driverless bloody thing. Pretty impressive. That was one thing. There was another thing where it's like a futuristic bus looking thing. So I think it fits 20 people in it or something, but same kind of concept, driverless vehicle. But then what I wanted to focus on was these bloody robots. This just looks crazy. Oh, it's going to go to Instagram. I'm not on Instagram. But yeah, we can. Here we go. Can you see that?
Yeah. Oh, that's
Well,
great.
I thought at first, surely this is somebody in a suit, but it's definitely not. The way it moves and that is just freaky.
It's moving fluid. Like usually you can tell it's a robot, but it's like moving like a human. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's insane. Like the fingers move while it's doing that as well. It's super freaky. And they also showed there was a version where it was walking in step with a whole bunch of other ones, and I'm like, that looks wild.
That is wild. You know, we live in a fairly small town, relatively small town, and there's one Cybertruck here in town, and I hate it. I think it looks terrible. It's this big blocky mess that drives through the town, and then the autonomous taxis. We were in I was in San Francisco back in, I guess it was about a year ago now, and there was the driverless taxis. It was crazy.
Already, wow.
There was man, they had like 6 little, like, I'm guessing they were like either GPS or motion sensors. Like you could see them spinning. There's like 6 or 8 of them lining the car on the outside, and I bet you I saw a dozen of them over the weekend. They're pulling up, picking people
Yeah.
up, driverless. It was I didn't know that like existed for real. I knew they were working on it. I didn't know it like was actually working right now. So
So that's going to be all app based, is it? Like you're not going to get in and you're not saying, "Hey Siri, take me to such and such."
yeah, I'm sure it was like a localized test center. Like so you probably had to be on a
Mm,
special app and to be using it and stuff. But it was wild.
crazy stuff. Yeah. When I was watching the video of all of those robots walking in step, I was like, you can just imagine these things with AK-47s or something in their hands. You know, just super freaky.
Scary.
How much of that sort of stuff do you play around with yourself personally? Like, I know you've been involved a bit with some motion capture. I've seen back in the day with some suits and that you got going on. Do you play around with VR and that yourself in your own personal time?
No, no, I don't. We did the motion capture suit. What's interesting is the technology is progressing so fast. You actually almost don't need those suits anymore. There's different
Mm,
programs and things that are able to capture what you need. Um, and it was quite a process to get that suit working, to be honest. So, um, but as far as VR and stuff, I last Genesis week was the first time I actually put on VR goggles. Um,
mm,
but that was actually it was actually more fun or better experience than what I expected. It
yep.
was it was I was pretty impressed, to be honest. So I could see in the future, um, maybe doing something with it, but as of right now, or yeah, I don't have kids right now, so maybe one day when I have kids and they want to get into that stuff, maybe I'll slap them on and have some fun with it. But at the moment, just too busy with other real life stuff. So
Yeah, that was definitely my gateway. My eldest son, he got one he got an Oculus for his birthday last year, and that was the first time I'd ever played around with it. And the same, I was super impressed, but I was like, yeah, I got to put this down. I'm not going to get sucked into another rabbit hole where it eats up more of my time. And he actually, one of the controllers for that one, it broke when it was still under warranty. So we rang up Amazon and they're like, "Oh, well, that one's not being produced anymore, so we'll just give you the full refund back." So we actually ordered the latest one. It's just becoming available in like 2 days or something. So that's on the way. So
oh,
he'll be all
fantastic!
over that. So I guess I'll have another try, but definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Definitely interested to see where it goes.
Yes.
Uh,
Maybe, well, you kind of mentioned Vegas there. The one thing I wrote down in my little notebook was some peripheral stuff to touch on was that whole Vegas experience because as somebody who has never been, is never likely to go to a Genesis week. Yeah. Can you give me some insights into what that's all about? I mean, we see it from the outside, but obviously that's nothing what it would be like going there.
Um, yeah, I really enjoy it. You know, both times that we've been there. We have been there to kind of promote Hyde Park and kind of what we got going on and stuff. But so that's it's a little bit of a work trip. I I would say a little bit of work. Like we mainly have fun and relax and stuff. But I would say meeting it was really cool putting a lot, and that's actually why I like your show a lot. And I've been tuning in pretty much since I started Upland. Because you put a lot of faces to the names, and
Hmm.
you bring people on, and it's like, oh, that is not who I thought that player would look like, and um, or sounded like, or talked like, or anyway, I just love that. So getting excuse me, getting to do that on like a mass scale at Genesis Week in Vegas is a lot of fun. Meeting the people, that networking is fantastic, and um, so so yeah, I've enjoyed both. I've been fortunate enough to go to 2 years, and I I enjoy it. I love it.
Did you have a booth? You had a booth 2 years ago. Did you have a booth this year as well?
Actually, it was the opposite. We had one this year, um, and then
Not last year.
we kind of tagged along on. the Upix World booth the first year. We were just had a little sliver of the table the first year, and then we were able to snag ourselves our own booth the second year. So
Nice. And is that something you start planning for like now? Are you already thinking ahead to next year and getting ready for what you could do or whatnot? Or is it just a case of wait for the announcement to pop up and okay, let's scramble together? Or how do you plan ahead?
the first year, I think we had like 3 weeks to get ready.
Yeah.
Which if you want to get shirts and all this stuff, like it was a nightmare.
Yep.
This year we were much more prepared, but you're still like it's still a little stressful because you don't know if you're going to get the booth until I can't remember, maybe 6 weeks or 8 weeks before. So you can't
Mm.
really like order all the shirts and order your merch and order your stuff until like you got the booth. Um so I wish we had a little bit more time to prepare. And this year we're preparing. We're already preparing. We got a bunch of stuff kind of in the pipeline that we're working on. So each year we're getting more and more prepared. Sckicker and I
Nice.
are quite similar in our. We're not as like the most organized people. I think we both married organized people that keep us together, keep us on path. But
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. And how was the booth experience this year? I know because being external, we didn't get insights into much at all, except for what a few people were posting or streaming here and there. The year prior, I know there was a bit of contention where there was a lot of really cool events happening while the booths were ongoing and that sort of stuff. Did they fix that up this year?
Nope. No, they didn't. They didn't fix it at all. Um,
Yeah.
which is okay. I got to miss some really cool presentations. Or I had to miss some really cool presentations that I wish I would have seen.
Mm.
Um, but it it was like probably an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours of just where everybody just came through. It was like a really slammed, hour and a half, 2 hours. Um, but there's still stuff going on. So like people are like want to talk to you, but then they don't want to miss the presentation.
Mm.
And
Yep.
so the people are battling on like what to do, who to talk to, what presentation to see. So I really I do hope that experience does get better. So
Very good. All right. We kind of dive into a bit of just general uplandy news. I've been out of the loop again this week a fair bit, so forgive me if we're touching on stuff that you've already covered in your own show. I'm still trying to catch up on last week's of the various shows. I happened to catch Elslack's rant about the latest cosmetic drops. I was like, whoa, my ears are starting to melt off here. He was on fire. So and I've got a bit of a thing at the end there we'll touch on with something going on between the Hyde Park Ninjas and Slack over there in some certain part of the metaverse. Something kicking off there. Did you happen to catch his rant about the cosmetic drops?
I did.
Oof.
I was I was laughing. He gets heated. I'm a- I'm a little bit more I don't know, maybe mellow, or I'm like, I see him, I'm like, oh, those kind of suck.
Yeah,
And then but he had his long rant, so I was definitely chuckling at that.
yeah. I was laughing for about the first 5 minutes, and then I'm like, hang on a minute, how bad could these possibly be? So I went and had a look, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. That's pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah, yep,
Yes.
agreed.
So are you're all on board with those? Do you still buy them every opportunity?
I'm gonna buy this year's. Like, I'm just gonna have like
Yep.
all of this year's. To be honest, like even a slight upgrade, I would continue to buy them. We
Yep.
actually our stream a few months ago, we put together a list of just simple little things that would, like, even if they included 5,000 upics with the purchase, or If you buy the pass, you'll be able to build a special structure. Even just a minor upgrade that would give a little bit, I would love, and probably continue. But if it's just going to continue to be this, I'll probably stop at the end of the year. But I kind of committed to buying one, and I just buy one. I don't buy extra. I just do the one, and I committed. I was like, I'll buy this year, see if they improve, and if it doesn't improve by next year, I'll probably stop on those. I'd rather put that $7 to something else. So
Yeah, they seem to be ignoring all of the possible feedback they've been given, and just impressively getting worse. I think last season was kind of half decent in some respects, but then there was simple things where, like the Ring of Fire, it could have extended out just a little bit further, and it would have been perfect around the outside of your block explorer. Instead, it's right over the top of it, and this just I don't know. To me personally, there just seems like there's not much love and attention to detail getting put into it. It's just slapped together. Yeah, last week's drop, it was a classic example of that. What was it? The Block Boy. My God, talk about laugh! I had a good chuckle when I saw that thing. Like, what the f is that? So, yes. Shout out to Elslack. Hopefully, he's calmed down a bit because he was fired up indeed.
he was working himself up. Yep.
Yeah, half the times I'm not sure, is this an act he's putting on? But I'm like, oh no, he's pretty committed here. He's definitely fired up this time.
Yep. Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's genuine.
Yes. All right. Other things that's happening at the moment is, of course, a lot going on with Sparklet. Now, we did have Sparklet in-game sales and weekend rewards unveiled, so it's good to see. Like, we were getting the Spark weekend periods that was coming along periodically. Lots of people were waiting to level up, and it seems like this is now going to be a much better established thing. Sparklet being available in the stores. They seem to have sold out the lower price of these fairly quickly. I just had a look before. I think there was still, where are we? Get up extras. Yeah, there's still the $200 worth of Sparklet, the $300 worth. So there's still available a few of those. How have you gone with that whole system? Being in the US, it's a lot harder for you, obviously. But have you bought any to bridge in? Have you purchased any in the store or anything like that?
I have. It's actually pretty simple on Uniswap. I say simple. I've been in crypto since 2019. So I've been I've had a MetaMask, and so once you do it a few times, you get pretty comfortable with it. And so I remember the first few times sending some transactions, I was sweating bullets and hoping the transaction goes through and everything. But
Yes.
so I have
Yep.
bought. I've done a lot of thinking on this, and first of all, I'm trying to DCA in a little bit more into Sparklet because I only bought maybe over a period of a year and a half, not even 2 Spark at the original price of
Yep.
$460. I never bought a full Spark at a time. I was usually buying either 0.1 or 0.25 at a time, and then so I did that. So I'm trying to get my DCA down on that. And when I look at the market cap of Sparklet and its potential in the future, I'm like,
Mm.
um, with my other crypto portfolio, and I'm not a I do think Ethereum is going to do well, but I've taken a portion of my ETH and put it towards Sparklet. I'm not buying it all at once. I'm DCAing in, and then uh, and nothing crazy, not crazy numbers at all.
Yep.
But DCAing in over the next few seasons with the drops coming out and stuff, and so yeah, kind of playing the long game with it for sure.
Yeah, it's very flat at the moment. Like, it's very much on that 5 to 6 cents mark. So yeah, I toyed with the idea of starting to dollar cost averaging myself because I didn't. Now that we've got an option just within the app to do it, I think that was a very good kind of addition to the whole system. You don't have to go the full-on traditional crypto route, yet that's still available if you want to. So yeah, I talked about dollar cost averaging in. I may still do so. I'm not sure. I kind of did what you did when you said you took in some of your ETH as a kind of I don't know what you call it, like side bet or something like that. You think there's the potential that that's going to improve more than the traditional markets. That's my entire Upland account was all built from, some of the cryptos that I sold to put into Upland back when when there was no USD out or anything like that. So that was very much a gamble. I started to see the fruits of all that work last year, where I pulled out something like 20,000 Australian dollars. I just did my tax return last week, and I've got a $8,000 tax bill to pay off. So that's where my funds will be going for a while, which I knew was coming, of course. I was prepared
Right.
for. So
Right.
yeah. So how much of that kind of consideration plays into what you've got going on as well?
As far as like the taxes and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like just being aware of it's so messy with the recording process and the legislation and that. Not how do you what are you doing to protect your future self? I guess you could say.
Yeah. So I haven't pulled a dime out of Upland yet.
Yep.
I do plan to in the future. I want to be on house money. Um,
Yep.
in the future. I came in beginning of 2022. So I definitely missed like the beginning. Like the OGs in the beginning are reaping some good rewards and stuff, which they should. And but I just didn't get in at a time. Basically, the market's been going down since I got in. Uh,
Mm,
so I just don't feel like it's time to pull out yet.
yep.
To pull USD out. So you know, I don't plan on until the market starts going up, and to be honest, quite a bit up. Um, so I don't plan on pulling anything out at the moment. So I haven't really. I've done a lot. I've done crypto taxes the last 5 years, which I've got a good system. I do pay $70, I think, but it does it. I link all of the exchanges, which I've consolidated now and stuff, and consolidated all my. It takes the APIs and just it basically I click a button and it does my crypto taxes for $70. And because my tax accountants, they didn't know what to do. Uh,
Yep.
and so I had to go learn. They were like, I don't know what the heck to do with this. So I said, well, let me go figure out. And then I showed them the software that I was going to use, and they were like, okay, let's do it. And it's worked for 5 years. Um, it's worth the $70 to me to not have the headache, because
Yep.
I'm not trading now. I was trading crypto the first 2 years, and so I had thousands of transactions. It was just ridiculous.
Yes.
And at
Yep.
the click of a button, it just calculated everything. So um, with Upland, I have no earthly idea how that's going to work out.
Yeah. It's tricky, isn't it? Because yeah, how do you even classify it? Or
Well,
you're somebody who's involved in all aspects of it as well, buying and selling different things. Yeah, it's messy.
yeah. So you purchase a property with UpX, uh, internet money that you earned off interest, and then you sell it for USD for a profit. How What are they going to do with that? How are they going to tax that?
I mean, it gets even murkier than that. Like, you talked about your accountant didn't really know what to do. Well, I started crypto 2017, and I think in early 2018, I contacted the Australian Tax Department directly. I spoke to them on multiple occasions, and I outlined a bunch of different scenarios. Like, if I do this, what do I have to report? And basically, at the time, they said all you have to report is Australian dollars in, Australian dollars out. So I just went absolutely crazy. You're talking about, yeah, thousands, tens of thousands of transactions here, there, everywhere, wallets all over the place, ICOs, scams, really dodgy exchanges getting obscure coins and pumps and dumps and whatnot. And then it turns out that was all bullshit. What they told me was wrong. Every single trade is a potential taxable event. And, so my Upland account has been built on crypto that I got in ICO pumps that I put into Upland. I mean, where do you go? How do you? So I basically, for last year's tax return, I just did a zero cost basis. I'm just essentially saying whatever I got in Upland, I got for free, and I'm just paying the bulk tax because otherwise I don't even know where to begin.
I got no clue. I wish I could say I did, but I got no clue.
Yeah, that's tricky. So, I've kind of put I've put a 40,000 Australian dollar kind of limit as my house money kind of point. I think I'm at about 27,000 that I've pulled out, but that's nowhere near the actual reality. I think I'm probably, it wasn't all Bitcoin. Like I put Cardano, Binance Coin. I put a whole bunch of coins into Upland when you could buy direct for crypto with all these different things. I think probably if I was to go back and look at it, I'm probably in Upland for 2 Bitcoin worth, something like that.
Current Bitcoin?
No, this is way back in the day.
Okay, gotcha.
And that entire account was built on probably less than $1,000 initial investment that I just traded like an absolute maniac. So
that's so awesome though. That's a cool
yeah,
story.
but it's one of those things. Like if I had have never heard of Upland, I could have probably in that last pump, I could have probably paid me house off.
well, there's the shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah, and it's the whole, I shouldn't have bought the pizza for the 10,000 bitcoins or whatever. You can't think like that.
Exactly.
So that's kind of why I've kind of put that 40K line in the sand, and I'm like, if I can get to that, then happy days. Whatever happens after that's good. So, yeah.
Perfect.
Yes, that might be a good segue over into what they've got going on now. This kind of came out the blue too. Was the new vice chair and chair levels that popped up. What do you think about this whole aspect of things?
I didn't think too much of it because I'm so far away.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with it. I think the people up there, man, they've devoted time and effort and money to this.
Yes.
So yeah, now I did chuckle a little bit at the Sparklet rewards and stuff because that was I thought a bit of a joke at that level.
Yep. Yes.
So you can go. What is it? If I'm not mistaken, 3,000 Sparklet for like
Yeah.
the highest one. I'm like, you can go buy that for about $180 right
Yeah.
now.
3,000. Yeah. A 500K investment to get $300 worth of Sparklet.
I did think that was silly, to be honest. But so yeah, I didn't think too much of it.
This aspect that was, I thought, I was not expecting. I didn't think we'd see this happen anytime soon. So, we've gone from being able to list 20 USDs, and yeah, if you're an executive 75, that's a massive jump, or myself a chief executive 100. Yeah, that's huge, being able to do that.
And I think that's fair. I mean, you have big accounts, lots of properties, lots of so yeah, they should have the flexibility, and Upland makes their percentage on that, and so everybody wins. So yeah,
it would have been nice to have that when I was downsizing my account. Like I sold 4,500 Chicago properties, most of those for USD.
Yeah.
And that was a case of, I got to the point where, famously they say there's no bots in Upland. Well, clearly there is. I got to a point where I found the bot's trigger point, and I'd get up in the morning and I'd just, one after the other, as fast as I could list them, they're just getting gobbled up. And then you could tell, well, the bot must have run out of whatever it had been seeded with for that day or something. So I'd clean that bot out and wait 24 hours for it to reset. Yeah, I cannot personally believe that it's not, people don't have an automated bot system because it just seems so obvious.
It's very obvious.
Yeah.
It's been, I try to keep a balanced perspective on time and stuff. At times, it seems like Upland moves slow on stuff because it was brought heavily to their attention in Vegas.
Yep.
And it's been a few months, and I know, I own a business, partnered with that Sckicker in Hyde Park. I know we have projects that are way behind the deadline. I know things take time, and especially they're on a different level than what I am. So I know things take time, but man, it's not good for the game. It's not good for the players. So do hope to see something done about the bots, because it is. I've experienced it. I've made the mistakes. I've done the 1 UPX or 5 UPX, whatever, instead of $5, and I've made that mistake before, and it is instant. It's instantaneous. So there's no way that someone is just sitting there clicking, and so
24 hours a day. Yeah, no,
yeah,
it's not happening.
no.
Yes. Yeah, I was going to ask, have you been stung before? But obviously you have. Yeah.
I've
Hopefully
been
not too badly.
nothing major. There's one time I lost 150,000 UPX. In I think that was more of a glitch though than a bot. But that's been my worst one. Other than that, it's been maybe $5, $7. And I could probably count on one hand the amount of times I've made that mistake, and it's been quite a while since I've made the mistake. So I've been pretty careful about it. I also don't sell a lot of properties either. So I do.
Yeah, I was.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I used to flip in San Fran a lot to get UPX into the game, but I've for a while I haven't been doing that. So
No, I think it might have been you and I. There was a few different players there where we were playing the UPX and the USD.
yeah, I've
Yeah,
done
I
it
think
with
yeah, I think it was your name. Yeah,
you and Dizzy. I've gone back and forth with Dizzy,
yeah,
and a couple
yeah.
other
I'm
players
like,
as well.
I swear I had this property a couple of days ago. It's just, yeah, it's an interesting feat. I haven't even looked at the markets there. What do you think about? Because what we were doing there, I think I was buying for about 22,000 UPX and selling for $7-8 or something. Like last time I think I checked, it was, what are we down to, $5 or $4 or something? It's rocketing down.
Yeah, it really has. I have it right here. I can tell you what it is right now.
Yep.
San Francisco's at $4.99.
Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I remember buying for, oh man, $15 probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember probably quite a long stint at like $11 or $12, and then it kind
Yep.
of just very quickly dropped down. But you're probably looking at like 17,000 UPX in San Fran.
So that's a huge margin now, yeah, between the two. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's very similar in crypto in a lot of ways where it's those kind of not even numbers, but those kind of, you get to the $10 mark and it kind of holds steady for a while above the $10, but once it goes under that $10, it's very quick to go from 10 to 5. Yeah. Yeah.
Those weird psychological levels. Yep.
Yeah. Yes, interesting. Well, you said you'd taken a bit of a break from that. When you were doing that, was that just making use of building your UPX balance? Or was that you were putting dollars into Upland and that was the best way to generate UPX, or were you flipping for US, or how were you playing with that whole system?
Yeah. As I'm now at a point where um, pretty much can generate the UPX that I need through my earnings, spare properties laying around, spare assets laying around. Like, so I don't need to put in. But as I was building the account, I was just using, and I just got to know the San Fran market. Plus, that's where I treasure hunted. I don't anymore,
Mm,
but I treasure hunted there. So I would just I would treasure hunt off of. Well, first of all, I would treasure hunted with no properties there for a long time, and then I would just keep like maybe 10 properties in San Fran, and once I sold 3 for UpX, I'd go and buy 3 more, and it just flip them that way and get UpX into the game as I was building my account. And I still, and I'm a sucker for city releases, and I still enjoy them. I still like. I still even. I mean, shoot, we're two. I'm coming up on 3 years in this game, and I still like playing the game. So I still like the city releases. So as those city releases would come up, I'd try to flip and get UpX, and so.
Very good. Yeah, you mentioned treasure hunting there, and I did write down when we were talking about bots too. Perhaps we did see that treasure hunting is supposedly coming back. I don't know if it's back yet, but maybe that's an indication that they are on top of the bot situation a bit. Hopefully that's the case. You got any insights into what's going down there?
I know that the standards are back on PC.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yep. So that's good for the. I always try to remember like where my account is versus like when I started. I was like through the roof when I got 1 spark. I
Yes.
thought I was,
Absolutely.
and I was like thought it was awesome, and so and I bought some of that and earned a lot of it, and so for the new players coming in that want to grind and earn Sparklet, yeah, that's a great way, and um, that if you don't want to spend money, so and that but I treasure hunted for a long time. I grinded and got quite a bit of spark. I didn't really care about UpX, to be honest, with the treasure hunting, so I really avoided the 125 UpX Star Labs. If you're out there, get rid of those.
Yes. Yeah. What's that bottom right corner, isn't it? Whatever that neighborhood in San Francisco.
But everything
Yeah.
else, even if it was like 75 UpX, I really didn't care. I was just getting my treasure hunts and get my spark as quickly as possible. So
Yes. Very good. Um, what about the gamified earnings? How have you found that process? Like with that, you can't just sit idly by and generate your UPX interest now.
I personally have thought it's been a positive for the game. I know
Yep.
there's different opinions out there, but yeah, if you're playing the game, it kind of rewards those that are playing and um, doesn't reward those that aren't playing. I think that's fair. I think getting your 14.7 is relatively easy with a little bit of effort, a little bit of UpX, maybe some USD if you want to. Um, but I mean, you should be able. I'm looking at like a brand new account. You're probably gonna have to put a little bit in if you're like a brand new account. Once you have a small to medium account, you should be able to get the 14.7. So I think it's been pretty fair. They have lots of options to get your 14.7. So um, this was the first time I got to the bonus 15.19.
Oh, last season. Nice.
I just kind of did that, kind of just playing the game, to be honest. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a good system. It's you only got to do 5 to keep your earnings. It's pretty straightforward. I mean, I was just bringing this up, having a look. I'll be interested to see. This is your one, so obviously the 25 days, not yet. The 7 days straight, not yet, but that's got to be soon.
it's got to be because I haven't missed one since the beginning.
Yeah, I think that's tied to when you collect your Sparklet, the daily Sparklet login. I think so. Maybe if yours is due in the next hour or something, maybe it'll pop up then. It's very close to being due anyway.
I
5
collected
o'clock. That's
I collected my
yep.
Sparklet this morning, so it'll probably be today.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yep. Spark Staker, that's an easy one. The referral bonus, that's always a hard one to get. You must have. Did you get that one last season
No,
to
but
get the
you didn't.
bonus?
No, but you didn't have to get all of them last. You had to get 12 of 15
Yeah,
last season.
yeah, very good. Buy 3 items. That's pretty easy to do. And then what's the other one? bridge in 100 sparklet. So you've already got 3 already, and that's
So
just playing the game.
yeah, I'll get the other ones. I'll get the structures. I just started the structures that I needed for that. I have my ornament on. I think the ornament's got to be on for 25 days.
Yeah.
And then I'm waiting for. I'm assuming there's going to be a city release this season, besides the starter city that was released. So I'm kind of waiting to mint. We do a lot of giveaways and stuff, so I kind of hold up X in my account. But so yeah, I'm hoping on that city release to come. That's when I'll get my mints. If not, I'll go mint 3 properties somewhere. And then I was a little upset at the bridge 100 sparklet in. I thought that was kind of dumb.
That was a bonus one, wasn't it? Yeah,
Well,
it's kind of lame.
Well, so I'd already decided each season I'm going to bridge in a little sparklet because you get that 0.25 bonus as well on the rewards. So I just did that a week ago.
Ah,
And I was
yeah, of course.
it's like crap. So I don't know if I'm going to do that one or not. I haven't decided.
Murphy's Law, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've already got the 7 days. So 3 props, I'll do that easily, whether it be a city release or I'll mint some to flip for USD.
Yep.
5 prop collections, won't be doing that. Buy 5 properties. It's unlikely I'll do that unless there's a flipping opportunity. Complete structures in 3 cities. That will be easy because I'm building showrooms in Bermuda and bloody Paris and somewhere else. So that'll tick over within the season. The staker one's easy. Always got Spark fully staked. Won't be doing that one. 3 items. That's super easy to do because all the stuff we've got going on with giveaways and whatnot. I'm always picking up stuff to give away.
Yep.
The ornament, yeah, that'll tick over. Won't be doing that one. So yeah, I'm already at 3, and I haven't even looked at this. This is the first time I've even looked at. So I only need 2 more to get to my base earnings anyway. So yeah, as you said, if you're playing the game in any sort of aspect, should be fairly straightforward to tick it over.
Yeah, it really should be.
So what else have we got? We got, of course, now we did see we've got a new round of harvest season structure ornaments to purchase. Do you get involved in any of this sort of situation?
So the only one I went heavily into was the blossom season. I was able to, I think, get in the top 10 on that leaderboard just barely. And actually, after I saw how difficult it was to place in that, I kind of I kind of gave up on that. So I usually just pick up one. I just like to. I'm a little bit of a collector, a little bit of a nostalgia, little nostalgic. So I'll pick up one and hang on to it and just use it as a memory or something. So
yeah, I mean it's hard to compete in those competitions because you're competing against UGC content creators who basically, I mean, how do you compete against somebody who can create their own structure ornaments? I mean, if they're going to go all in, and obviously, yeah, you got to put it on. Is it still the case where you got to put them on a collection property? Is that still a thing?
it is, and that was actually my problem.
Yeah.
Because
No. Okay.
I've been building up Hyde Park, and none of my collection properties had structures on them, and
Yeah.
so I had to go
Yeah.
quickly build some structures and spark some up, and it was a nightmare.
Well, that's interesting actually. I hadn't thought of that. Like once, obviously, with what you got going on at Hyde Park, assuming the system remains, eventually that will achieve neighbourhood collection status, and then every single one of your properties is going to be a collection property. So yeah, I was just thinking with Midtown Terrace, I've got structure ornaments on a vast load of Midtown Terrace, but there's no rhyme or reason to what I've put there. I've just put stuff all over the place. So I don't know what season's what. So that's interesting. I talked previously with Swaley about maybe getting some custom structure ornaments done. Maybe that's the key. Like if you've got a neighborhood or a node or something like that, just go all in on 1 or 2 seasons, because I don't know about you, but moving those crates around, I don't enjoy that much at all. So yeah, maybe I tie all of the custom ones I want to do to whatever blossom season or whatever, and just leave it there for the year, and maybe once a year you're way up there in the earnings or something.
Yeah, and however, I don't know if that property has to be like activated in the collection or not.
That's interesting.
So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that, so I'd have to research that.
Huh. Yeah, interesting. All right. Yeah, so even if you are a structure ornament creator, then I guess if they have to be active collections, then that's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
What? There's still plenty available to buy there. I was kind of a little bit the same with you, where previously I used to go all in on the structure ornaments when they were available for UPX. There was times there where I bought 40, 50, 100 of them, just one after the other to get a good bank there. And then, of course, the crate system came in, which kind of complicated things a little bit. Now, with it all being USD, that kind of almost blocks me out entirely. And the prices, when I see the prices here for what you're getting, and then you look at this cheaper prices for, I think the UGC content creators are doing way better than this. And the prices are generally cheaper, especially if you can work with people on a one-to-one basis and work out bulk deals and whatnot. What do you
That that
think about
was
that?
that was gonna be a comment that I like. I prefer. I don't know if I prefer. I enjoy supporting the UGC
Yeah,
market,
yeah,
and so I definitely purchase more UGC stuff than the Upland stuff. Um, I do. I love Upland, and I want to support them. So I buy the pass. I buy a structure ornament. Um, I do want to help the game, but if I definitely buy a lot more UGC stuff now. Uh,
yeah,
I love seeing what the players are creating. Um, a lot of times on stream, I'll just go look at different shops and just buy different stuff. And uh, someone gets that ping on their phone, and they're like, "Yes, I made that sale," and whether it be USD or UPX, and plus people are just creating some cool stuff, like some sick stuff. So I like it.
yeah. It's the explosion of UGC has been phenomenal. The creativity that's out there, like as somebody who's been involved in map assets for a long time, like some of the map assets that I see come up, I'm like, damn, why didn't I think of that? That looks so cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. And yeah, with the structure ornaments now, that's a whole different kettle of fish. Now, I don't know if I know you're pretty well, you know Swally pretty well as well, because he's involved in, as much as he can in supporting your show and that. He's been pretty upset recently with some of the stuff going on with UGC, with structure ornaments in particular, because the rules keep changing. Like now, apparently, you can't, if you do a structure ornament, you can't cover the windows and you can't have something on the roof. But then you look, Upland sells stuff that violates those rules non-stop. There's, dozens upon dozens of examples where even UGC content creators have put stuff out that violates those rules. It's the rule book's constantly changing from one week to the next. Have you been involved with that process yourself, or have you heard or felt any of the kind of anguish that's out there? Because these are people that have put in hundreds of hours to learn these skills, or paying people to create these things for them, and then you think everything's good, submit, and it's just rejection letter after rejection letter.
Yeah, I am not skilled in those areas at all. So I really respect and appreciate the people that are creating, because I know how much work it is. Um, and so I have not personally experienced those frustrations. I've talked to a lot of people that are frustrated with that. Um, and it's very justifiable, very understandable why they're frustrated. So we've outsourced all of our assets and stuff. And they've everything we've outsourced before has come back just fantastic. They've done a great job. Um, but yeah, all those frustrations are. I think the most frustrating part is seeing that maybe Upland can break the rules, but the UGC can't. That's gotta just rub you the wrong way, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's been the case since day dot. Even with map assets, like with my business, the original proposal I submitted was for in-ground pools and garden ponds, and then that got approved. And then what do you know? No, sorry, you can't do water, and you can't do any living thing. Oh, awesome. Yeah,
Oh man.
so it's super frustrating. Um, yeah, I don't understand why. Like something like the roof of the structure ornaments. Now you got to continue to show the underlying chimney structure and whatnots there. Any idea why that would be the case? Why are they going so hardcore on that now?
I don't know. If I had to speculate, it had to be they would have to be like looking 3, 5, 7 years down the line with things that maybe we're not thinking about. At least you would hope that would be the case, or maybe they would say that, like, "Hey, these are the reasons why we're making these changes to make
Yeah.
things better for the long term." Um,
Yep.
but uh, but you know, the Upland's communication is not the best.
Questionable at times. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder. Well, that's a kind of a good point you make. We do know they have these cross collaborative partnerships with the sandbox and whatnot, and there is talk that there's going to be a portal and assets can move between the two, and they're trying to standardize certain aspects of it. So maybe it's related to that. But yeah, as you said, a comment in there saying that this is the reason why would probably go a long way to, you know, calming
ease the
down some of the rage that's out there.
ease the frustrations. Like at least if you knew why, that would be probably help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it may be the case where, yeah, all of those previously accepted structure ornaments or map assets that violated the new rules, well, maybe when the time comes to go across to the portal, well, maybe they can't. And if
Yep.
you're somebody who's followed the new rules, well, maybe that's just pure speculation. But
Yeah.
you would hope it's something like that and not just somebody sitting in the office just changing the rules for some reason, some unknown reason, and then just totally blowing people out of the water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait and see on that one, I suppose. And the other big news that dropped as well, I don't know how involved you were with this, was that the Road to the Big Game Challenge, apparently we've reached a milestone there with the Sparklet hours staked. You get involved in this with what's going on in New Orleans?
Yeah, I actually love this event. Um,
Mm, cool.
it's like a community-driven event. Everybody working
Yep.
together to spark up New Orleans. Sparked a little bit of life into the NFLPA. I don't know if I said this on stream the other day. Like I don't think it like totally revitalized it. I think it gave it a little boost. Um,
Yep.
it prompted me to go buy a few little things of NFLPA, nothing major. Um, uh, but I I I loved it. Do I love that they're dumping that much sparklet in? Honestly,
Mm,
to be very honest, I don't know how I feel about that yet. Um, I think time will tell on what the sparklet, how sparklet does in the next 1 to 3 years
mm.
with how much sparklet they've put out. So you know, you look at the market cap of sparklet. There's a ton of sparklet left to get out into circulation. Um, and I'm not smart enough to know how that's going to play out in the next 3 to 5, 10 years. I can speculate a little bit, and I do have some crypto experience and stuff, but so I'm trying to look like, okay, this is how much sparklet they're putting out. It's really not a lot, um, and you have a lot of pent up like players that are going to sell out as soon as they can um, over the last what
Yeah.
5 years. So I think there will be some sell pressure from all the sparklet being dumped out. I think eventually it should even out over time if Upland is successful. And so, uh, but as far as a community driven event, I thought it was really cool. It made me. I went and bought like 10 properties in New Orleans, so I could put up structures and get them and spark them up, and or use my spark to build up. So yeah, I definitely got me involved, and I think it's cool.
Very good. Yeah, I mean, there's always been talk. There's a few famous examples where people have said, I've put all this money into Sparklet and I can't sell it. Well, now the opportunity is available. You can sell it, and yeah, there's a lot of Sparklet being put into the hands of the community, basically as if it's not free airdrops, you don't have to do a whole lot except just play the game to get more of it, essentially for free. Yet we're not seeing the liquidity in the markets has actually dropped significantly. There's not a lot of movement happening in there. Like this is, I think, previously when I was looking at the HTX markets, that was in the 3 to 5 million range, and now that's 1.5 million. So.
Mm. Yeah.
For the amount of Sparklet that is going into the community, it seems by and large it's being held in the game and being actively used rather than being dumped on the markets as many of us feared would happen. So
Yeah, and if you look at the swings crypto's made in the last 2 months, and you look at Sparklet's been steady.
yeah.
Overall. So
Yes. Yeah, I like that that it kind of revived a kind of dead area, however you want to say it. There wasn't a lot going on in New Orleans that I was aware of. Even as far as community node projects. There's a few way back in the day. I think it was the Black Pearl neighborhood was a nodey thing at one point in time that fell off. But yeah, it's good to see those kind of areas being revitalized. I know there was a lot of people that were very happy to suddenly have a whole bunch of sales pop up on their radar.
Yep.
But then it's one of those things, isn't it? If you had 20 or 30 properties there for sale and then suddenly they all get gobbled up, it's one of those, damn it, what did I miss out on here?
Yeah, I could have probably sold them for more. I mean, look at the market there. It's like you can't buy anything under mint. Maybe in USD.
Really?
Well, probably in USD to be honest. But
Yep.
like the UPX prices are up, and I just went and bought some, and I had to pay more than I wanted to. So
Yes. You said, well, maybe we'll dive into that now, hey? So we'll dive into who you are and what you've got going on. So maybe just give us a general. We kind of got a bit of an insight from Sckicker into how he got kicked off with things, pun intended. How about yourself?
he's the reason.
Yeah.
I think within this it was within the same month he got me into
Yep.
Upland and actually XYO. Recent
Yep.
partnership with Upland, which I'm excited about. Um, he got me into both of those in the same month. So yeah, he was like, you need to get some properties in this game. It's really cool. You get dividends and this and that. And I was like, what the heck are you talking about? So I pulled it up, and I think I threw my $10 in. I before you know it, maybe like the next week, the city release was coming out. If I'm not mistaken, my first city release was. I get a little confused now with the time, but I think
Yeah.
I was dropped in Nashville.
Mm.
Overpaid for my first few properties, big time, like everybody.
Everybody does. Yep.
Didn't know about Upix Land, didn't know about Discord, didn't know about YouTube, and then I think the next city release was LA, but I can't remember. I know LA and Detroit stand out in my head. I was there for both of those releases. I can't remember which one was first.
Yep.
But I same kind of story. Was doing well in crypto, and used some of those. Bought some UPX with crypto. Not the best move looking back on it, but yeah, before you know it, I was diving in and getting properties, and so that was kind of the start.
playing the game, as we say. What attracted you initially? Like you said, Sckicker mentioned like dividends and that sort of stuff. Was it the passive earnings sort of thing, or was it the monopoly on the blockchain, or well, what was the kind of, or was it miles? Some people said I was all about miles.
It wasn't miles that grabbed me. The dividends, for sure. I was like, oh man, it'd be cool to be able to get 1,000 epics a day, and that was like
Yes.
that was and then I was like, man, then I could have 30,000 epics, and I could buy a few properties a month, and so the dividends
Yep.
definitely hooked me in. Probably the same old story. Once I found the community, that was like the final hook. I was like, man, some really cool people making cool things and having cool ideas with this stuff. So I've always been an entrepreneur and business mindset as well. So I like creating things so just to kind of see, and this was something way out of my normal field.
Yeah.
And so when Sckicker and I started throwing ideas around, it was yeah, it was pretty fun. So
Yeah, it's cool how you've been able to merge your in real life businesses and your interests into what you've got going on as well, which I'm sure we'll dive into heavily when I get the both of you back for the third chat. Yeah, just for your account in general, yeah, there's clearly a very hodler account going on here. Very steady growth. There's no real significant jump. There's a couple here, so obviously they're probably city releases, but they're not crazy. Like you haven't gone bonkers into city releases. So you definitely seem to be somebody who plays within your means. You're not susceptible too badly to the credit card FOMO dragon.
no, and
Mm.
my wife and I have the same credit card account, so she knows.
Same here, yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Please explain. Yes, yes,
so
absolutely.
yeah, if she goes and buys a new pair of shoes, then I buy an Upland property. So
Nice. Tit for tat. Like it. Yes. You've pretty steady. Well, you've kind of you developed a gap here between your property's net worth and your mint net worth pretty early on, 2022, which is you joined January 2022. So within the first year, around Christmas time, there's a big gap developed there. It was that. Do you know what that was? Was that the start of the Hyde Park, or you buying something up on the secondary there, or collections or something?
to be honest, I haven't looked at this in forever. So my mint net worth
Mm,
is less than my property net worth. Is that right?
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. What's the date on that gap right there? 2022.
Yeah, mid-December 2022.
That was all everything in Hyde Park. Actually, everything in Hyde Park has been minted or bought under mint. Um,
Yeah,
so it's got to be something else. Um, but
might have been
I
a
don't.
collection set or something.
Might have been. And then I buy properties like if I have property, kind of like a crypto portfolio or whatever. I try to diversify. So nodes that I think
Yeah,
are fun or successful or going to do well long term, I go buy some in there, and a lot of times it's over mint and stuff. Um,
yeah,
so I definitely I prefer to buy under mint to build up my earnings still, but it's definitely not a if it's a node I want to be involved in and or hold properties in, I don't mind paying over mint price for them. So and I've consistently done that over the years. So
yeah. I did similar. Obviously, been involved in that whole aspect from the onset. I had node properties in every possible bloody thing you can imagine all over the map. I pretty much got rid of most of those when I downsized, and now I'm finding that now I've got my base account to a point. Actually, I still probably want to drop about another 100 properties. Those are mostly low dividend generating collection properties, which I'll then put into minting a higher dividend collection set. Um, Now I'm finding that how do I say this? It was kind of overwhelming. If you have between 3 and, in a case like Portage Park, 1,000 node properties in all of these places all over the place. You think, well, where the hell do I even start as far as building structures on these things? So I've found myself personally now that I've got my base account to a kind of more healthy, manageable level, because famously we're 6 years in and still no property management tools, but that's another wine. Now I'm finding, okay, well, now I want to go into these nodes like Evergreen Lasher, and I want to have the 3, complete structures there, and I want to put map assets on them, and I want to decorate them and that sort of stuff. So I'm slowly starting to buy back in. Essentially, I'm paying way more than what I did originally to do it, but now it's more of a present purpose rather than like a full-on future. Maybe one day I'll get around to this sort of thing.
Yeah, I start to look at the people that and the nodes or communities or areas that I think are going to do something long term, and because I do believe in this long term. So I if things are successful, it's like buying. It's like I trying to think of just a good example, like buying Dogecoin. I didn't get in. I made a little bit on Dogecoin in the big Elon Musk run up, but I kind of saw the writing on the wall there. But if you're buying it at 1 cent or 2 cents, it doesn't matter in the long run when it 100x's.
Yep.
And then so I look at that. It's like, okay, it's at 150% mint, um, but I'm believing that this long term, it's going to be like, you know, it didn't matter if you bought it at 1 cent or 2 cent, you're going to do very well long term
Yeah.
in the future. So that's kind of how I look at that. Not with it, but it's got to be a good community. It's got to be really something I really believe in for me to do that. Otherwise, I'm buying under mint. So
Yeah. Absolutely. And what do you got? You got 641 thou in the bank, saving up for next city release.
yeah, like I said, do
Yeah.
lots of giveaways. So I like to keep good UpX balance. Just been earning and collecting, and then yeah, waiting on the next city release. And like I said, I know a lot of people long time players. Maybe don't like to get involved as much, but it does happen to hit at a decent time for me usually. I'm fortunate on that, and I still enjoy it. I I I do. Anybody that's out in Vegas, I do like to gamble a little bit within my means, but
That's
uh, so yeah, I see the release. I'm like, okay, I think this is gonna be a good one. I still have never hit a rare or an ultra rare. Um,
mm,
I've never hit anything. The whatever the orange collection is, exclusive or whatever.
exclusive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
best I've ever hit, but I still like trying, so.
So do you go into city releases with a plan? Like, there's people like the Analytic Assassins that put out guides, or Banana Man, he puts out really good guides. Do you go in on personal research yourself, or is it a spray and pray, or how do you approach the city releases?
I used to put a lot of effort into it. Um, I used to listen to Radish Head, Loyal Doyle, um, eh, probably a couple others, was in the Discords, researching, um and that has dwindled to about 5 minutes before I go look at what roads are looking good, what this looks like a
Yeah.
good spot, or I'll like if I got 10 minutes, I'll Google this and say, is this a cool area in London? So it's more of a spray and pray at this moment. So
Yeah, it's been an interesting journey. Like, you know, back when Manhattan released, there was clearly areas there that were going to be collections like, Wall Street and this, that, and the other thing, the financial district. But there was a lot of speculation, like somebody do some research and they would put this case forward, like this has to be a collection because of X, Y, Z. And oh man, that I got bitten severely by the FOMO dragon, not just there, in a whole bunch of other city places. It was not always the actual city release itself. It was that period between city release and collection reveal, where there's I'd hate to think how much UpX I burnt just on speculation that turned out to be nothing. I have learnt the hard way that, especially now that's, you go back to the release of Bronx, it was get whatever you could get as fast as you could get, and whatever you got, that was it. But now there's that kind of, there's still a mad fever for certain areas that are highly speculated, or as we said, obvious collection points. But now I found it's much better to sit back. South Lake Tahoe was a classic example where I didn't go crazy for the initial city release. I got my one showroom property and a couple of, whatever properties. And then I just sat back and wait. And collection reveal goes, and well, what do you know? I've got 5 million in my account, and I can go and buy I can go and mint a 5 million UpX rare property.
Yep.
So that's kind of where I've taken things. Where kind of with my downsizing of my accounts, probably about half and half of that was USD I pulled out, and it was UPX that I stacked up to. I actually, what did I drop? Six? No, how many? I think I had almost 7,000 properties or something. Now I'm down to under 700.
Sure.
But I grew my account. I almost doubled my earnings, you know, because you're avoiding that kind of FOMO situation. You're putting it back in, but you're just being a bit smarter about how you go about it. Is that something you do on the back end as well? Are you still looking for high-end collection properties, even though you weren't able to mint them?
Yes, and I definitely don't go crazy like I used to in city releases. So I will, if I get areas that look good or that I like, I'll pick them up. If I don't, I'll sit back and wait. Um, and like you said, wait for the city release or the collection reveal and stuff like that. Which yeah, because the city releases have definitely evolved over the last,
Yes.
probably the last 18 months has probably been the biggest changes. And so I definitely don't go crazy. I have learned to keep UpX in the bank so that when the collection reveal happens, I can go if snag some if I'm lucky. Um, and yeah, I'm trying to consolidate my collection properties and make make them more efficient, basically.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I've kind of gone the whole roller coaster with that. Where I've just been super FOMO. I've been the complete opposite, where I've just gone in and only got the showroom property, and then got straight on the train and got the hell out of there. Um, I have since I kind of surprised myself with how badly I FOMO'd into Paris. Like
Mm.
I think I had almost 3 million UPX, and I got stuck in there because I had zero. I just blew the whole lot. And what I was mostly doing was buying to flip for USD. So I was just minting up as many as I could to flip for USD. But subsequent to that, I built up a balance again, and I put the call out in Upland General. I put a bounty out. Who can find me a good, exclusive collection property around the 1.5 mil mark that I can flip for USD? Somebody came back almost immediately and give me a few options. So I went and minted that, and I sold one property for USD that generated more, money in the real bank than the however many properties and the drama I had to go through to flip all the Paris ones. So that's probably the angle I'm going to go towards as well. You know?
Big time. That's a much better use of your time.
Yeah. I think, but
Yeah.
again, you've spoken to it as well. That like you still enjoy the city releases. I've been Well, it's only been this year that I've stopped getting up at stupid AM my time to be. Well, not all of them. What was that last release we did? That was only a. What was that last starter release? Was it something?
Fredericks.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I didn't ever even heard of that. When the announcement come through, I was like, "What the hell's this?" Didn't take part in it, of course. That was the one that had the delayed release, wasn't it? And they had to do a stress test, which is just as well because I would have been pissed off to ruin me sleep and on a
Yep.
weeknight, a work night. But then I actually travelled to Washington the next day, ready to go over there, and then I happened to look on the secondary market and thought, you know what, this is not a bad idea, a bad deal. I'll just buy this off the secondary. Of course, I paid more than I could have went over and minted for. So, um, yeah, I'm finding myself evolving, but that's that core aspect of it. the excitement around what can I get, okay, now what can I do with this? I'm going to flip this. What can I do? Can I move this into something else? That's still what keeps me the most engaged with the whole thing.
Agreed. I say it on our stream all the time. Like I still like playing Upland. I think it's still fun, and trying to find those deals, or trying to get that property that's gonna be cool that other people are gonna want, and yeah, I still enjoy it. So
Yeah. Eh, Kind of to that point, we do know that UPX land is up for sale. What do you think it would mean for the community if they weren't able to find a buyer and they closed up shop? What kind of impact do you think that would have? Maybe as yourself personally and the wider ecosystem.
that's an interesting question. I haven't thought about if they get a buyer or if they don't get a buyer. I've thought about if I've thought about when they do get a buyer, like what are some improvements, or how could they improve it as Upland gets bigger and better. Um, but man, I think that I think it's an opportunity for someone either to go start a new one, because tons of people are going to use it. Um, to be honest, if Upix Land charged $2 or $3 a month just to be able to use it, I would probably pay it. Um,
Yep.
I've done the $5 a month for just a few months, and to be honest, the perks from the $5 I didn't think were that great. If they just made it $3 or $4 or $5 to use it, I think that they would get enough participation, because I use it every day. I
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably use it probably every day, if not probably 4 or 5 days a week, um, very consistently. So I would, and it's done well for me. I love it. So, um, man, I don't know what people would do. Doing a lot more math, like going and looking at properties and having to calculate and stuff, and that would be a pain in the butt. So I definitely hope it continues. I hope they find a buyer that wants to continue the site, because it's been a game changer for me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very similar. I paid the premium a couple of times. I forget there was some aspect of it that I needed for some reason. I forget what it was, but yeah, whatever the perk was. But yeah, I'm the same. If they made it it's just an all paid service, or maybe they made the free version extremely basic or something like that. Yeah, because it is, and again, it goes with the communication challenges with Upland, like just sudden API changes, and then they have
Yeah,
to redo all this work. Yeah, it'd be interesting because that's not the first data site that was around. There were several at one point in time. Back in the San Francisco days, of course, there was none at all. I first got wind of any kind of data searchable site was the release of Fresno. There was a few people that had their own private ones. They'd essentially built their own, you know, blockchain scraping tool, and I think it was the Blackstone collection or something I was after. I wanted to mint the biggest collection possible in that area. And I reached out to this person that I knew was playing around with the data, and they said, "Oh, here's your options." That just spat out. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. Because prior to that, it was very much a scroll the map manually, click on a property, write it down in your notebook. Okay, that one's this, next one. So yeah, I think that would be it'd be massive if it's it'd be massive in a bad way if it was to go kaput. Personally, I wish Upland had either maybe fund those guys directly or something, or pick it up themselves or build their own. I mean, like I spoke about it before, here we are 6 years in development and we still don't have search function available in collections and whatnot. It's I was involved when UPX land was purchased the first time by somebody else. There was big plans for this, that, and the other thing that never eventuated, and it got bought back, and yada yada yada. There's just so much that could be done to flesh that system out. I don't think it's fair for the community to put the pressure on the team as it is. I think the UPX land team are doing a fantastic job maintaining what they do, how they do. Um, yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that? Like Upland either supporting it financially or, God forbid, building their own?
I think it should be a third party.
Yeah.
Honestly, mainly because of I think that they probably move faster than what Upland does. So I
Yep.
think that they're going to be more up to date than what Upland can keep up with. Um, so better for the player. And then Upland would be incentivized to help them out because I think you after wrapping my head around it, even for a few minutes, I think the secondary sales would drastically drop, especially
Plummet. Yep.
especially for your experienced players that know the deals out there and know what things are worth at this moment in time. You're gonna be very hesitant to go purchase something if you don't know it's the best deal or if it's a decent deal at all. Um, and so I think I would, if I didn't have those tools, I don't think I would be purchasing properties um, nearly as often as I would. If I didn't mint
Yep.
it in a city release, I'd be very hesitant to go purchase. And you're gonna have to just click on every freaking property and do the math, and uh, people are gonna get sick and tired of that real quick. So I think they
Yeah.
would be incentivized to find a partnership, you know, with a third party.
Yeah, it'd be almost a double-edged sword, wouldn't it? It's us, kind of people that have been in the system for a while. We would know how to work around it. There are certain things that we can do to kind of, you can scroll out on the map and you can click. It would be very laborious, but there's a way that you could still do it to maintain some level. But you talk about the newbie experience. You mentioned it yourself. Everybody comes in, you pay way too much. You do your ass, so to speak. It's not until you find these sorts of tools or the community that you learn to, you know, okay, this is where I need to go. This is what I should be doing. If those tools weren't available, then player retention is going to be way harder, I would imagine.
I 1,000% agree. Yep.
Mm. Yes. All right, we'll just dive back into some of what you've got going on now. Just going back, let me go back to Sherry screen. So I did talk about this with Sckicker. Maybe you could talk about your battle with him with the Ninja Ducks. I believe. I think you might have been the one that gobbled up the ones that I had for sale in the showroom I had, and he kind of dejectedly said you were kicking his ass, so to speak, with the little competition you got going on. What's going on there?
There's no rhyme or reason. These Ninja
Just a bit of
Ducks
fun.
came, yeah, just a bit of fun. These Ninja Ducks came out, um, and I was like, oh, those are pretty cool. I think I have 33 of them right now.
Oh,
And,
jeez, that's decent.
um, between him and I know we have over 10% of the market on Ninja Ducks. But uh, there was really no rhyme or reason. We started collecting them, and then
Yeah,
uh,
33. Crazy.
I found a Ninja Duck dealer. I found this guy. I
When
won't
he
say
said
his.
that, I laughed. Yeah, that's funny.
About every 2 or 3 weeks, I get a DM. I won't say his name just in case he doesn't want to be out there. And he says, "Hey, got 2 Ninja Ducks, and we have a little deal. We have a deal worked out." I told him what I would pay, and we have a deal. And
Uh,
so, but every 2 or 3 weeks, I get hey, I got 1 Ninja Ducks, or I got 2 Ninja Ducks, and I was like, dude, how are you getting these? Because I go look at the secondary market on the Ninja Ducks, and I mean, they're expensive.
yeah.
And I was like, "How are you getting these?" And then not only that, but like selling them to me at this price. And he's like, his response was, "I'm a hustler." That's all it said. So okay, I'm down
That's
with it.
that's hilarious. And yeah, when I talked with SE, we had a look at his Director's Block Explorer, and he mentioned that yours is very similar as well. These came out super cool.
Uh, yeah, we actually had a NFT idea. We had the artwork drawn up. All these ninjas. I still have all the artwork, but that NFT project never came to fruition yet. Maybe down the road, but anyway, these were kind of replicas of some of those images that we got off the NFT project that doesn't exist right now. But yeah, they turned out really cool, and I think he's got the sticks. He's big into um, Filipino martial arts, and which involve the stick and knife a lot, and I have the sword, so it's pretty cool.
Very good. So what's aside from the Hyde Park Ninja stuff, like when you're when you log on in the morning, okay, you've got 5 seconds and you log in. What are you looking to? What do you do? What's your kind of day-to-day routine, or I don't know that whole aspect? What keeps you playing on a day-to-day level that keeps you engaged?
I check in, and now with the amount of sparklet I have, I've got multiple. I used to just have one structure or something, but now I've got multiple. So I'll check my structures, see when I need to move sparklet, because it seems like every 24, 48 hours I got something finishing up. So I need to move it. I check our Discord because we have I'd say a fairly active Discord. We're in there quite often, so I'll go in there and check the Discord, make sure everything's cool and working good. We have UFC giveaways every week. We have NFL giveaways during the season. We have Rumbles going on, and Spark Trains going on. So just jump in there and make sure everything's going good. Um, I'm producing assets now, so I gotta jump in there, see if I got any sales, make sure this showroom is stocked. I probably do that once a week, and then put some announcements out if we need to, and then let's see, what have I done? Like the New Orleans thing. So I spent the last few weeks searching for deals in New Orleans and properties. Um, I'll go. We stream twice a week, so I try to stay up on the leaderboards and stuff. Maybe do that every other day or so. Stay up on the news. So yeah, a little bit every day. Not a whole lot on my day, just a little bit. So
Yeah, it's the streaming aspect of that is it eats up a lot of time as well. How do you fit that in with the in real life situation? Is this something you're doing? You said you didn't have kids yet, but obviously you're very busy in what you've got going on with your businesses and whatnot. Is this are you an early bird? Are you a night owl? How do you fit all this into the schedule?
I'm neither. I'm,
Mm,
but I don't sleep well. So I am up a lot, but I go to bed around midnight and I'm up around 6 a.m. But I don't stay up super late. Um, but I'm really busy like 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day. That's my
mm,
busy window. Um, but so we stream on Sundays and we stream on Thursdays. And
mm,
honestly, we love jump. We wing it like pretty much every time. So unless we have a few things planned here and there. If we want to do like a competition, we'll make sure we're both on the same page and have the rules laid out properly for everybody. Um,
yes.
and so we definitely will collaborate on that. But as far as the show goes, we just get on there and goof off, and I mean give away. So and it's we're so busy and a lot of stressful things going on that it's honestly it's kind of a break from that. So we both
Mm,
really enjoy just getting on, and plus Sckicker and I are great friends, so we get to catch up and talk Hyde Park stuff um, and just goof off on stream. So it's really more of a break for us from kind of the real life, and just a little mental break, and just get on and have fun and goof off.
very good. Yeah, and you mentioned before too that you've started being a UGC creator. So you've joined the club where it's let's move all of these things one at a time individually.
Yep.
Um, how do you go with all that? How do you manage how laborious a process that is?
I'm in charge of the selling the ninjas, which our goal with the ninjas was to use them to be usable in like different competitions and giveaways, like have some use case with them, and we made them very pretty cheap. So they're a lot of they sell a lot, so I got to restock a lot. So like once a week, sometimes twice a week, I got my little routine. I'll either turn on some jams or my podcast, and a lot of times an Upland podcast, either one of the many podcasts, including yourself, and turn that on. And I just get in the zone. I just get and like about every 10 to 12, the screen will crash. So
Yes.
then I got
Even
to
on PC, right?
even on
Yeah.
PC.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
I usually wait about 10 seconds. It pops back up. I refresh, and then I can do another 10 or 12. And so I just, yeah, I got my little routine. Takes me about half an hour, and so it's not fun, but make the best of it.
So you're trying to keep up with your factory production, trying to keep the lot emptied out.
Yeah, it's so crazy to think about, like being so excited to get one spark finally, and um, I've got enough spark to spark up the factory and get a couple builds going. Um,
Yep.
and which is just odd to think of now from where we started. Um, but eh, and then I'll produce enough ninjas because they produce pretty quick. So I'll produce for like 3 or 4 days, and then I'll stop producing, and then I can go build more stuff. So
Yeah, I definitely I've ridden the burnout roller coaster ever since it first become available. I'm currently in a move stuff as fast as you can phase before I burn out. I've been working on something for the last probably 2 months or something that I've just been working on. I do like the aspect now that they've made it so that you can have multiple factories in different cities and create your entire range of goods. That's a huge game changer. Well, what's that? That has inspired me to put up some more factories in different cities around the world, and I'm kind of just maxing out that factory lot, just as a kind of a holding period. That takes a bit of the pressure off having to have one or two factory lots that you got to unload all the time.
yeah,
What
absolutely.
about what about looking ahead to paid transportation mechanics has been talked about for years at this point. Are you doing anything yourself to kind of prepare for that, or how do you think that whole system's going to evolve and mix things up?
Yes, just very slowly. Sckicker has done better than I have. He's starting to get some more showrooms and stuff. I just have one showroom and one factory, but I've been trying to find a deal in Hyde Park, Chicago, Hyde Park, London, and
Oh, cool.
there's no good deals. So I've
Bummer.
been messaging and trying to wheel and deal some decent things there. Those are both, I guess, highly wanted areas. Um, but we do need to start thinking about that just in case. Or people don't want to travel to go buy a 2,000 upx item because you're going to pay a
Yeah.
couple thousand upx to travel, 4 or 5,000 upx to travel both ways back to your kind of home city or whatever. And so it'd be a lot better just to have say, oh well, you can actually just go up the street there and pick one up there. So I think there would be more sales overall if we had more options. Because right now people got to go to LA.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? But then you've got people like Umbrella Boy with his I series, where he's got the system where if you want one of these, guess what? You got to come to Detroit and you got to get it, or organize a swap or whatever. While that system's still available, so yeah, I cracked the seal on that myself. I went, I'm going to put a showroom. Famously, I'm going to put a showroom in every city. Well, now I'm kind of painted myself into a corner there, and I got to commit to that. So yeah, I kind of like Umbrella Boy's take on it as well. Like, no, this is where I am. If you want me, you know where I am. Come and get it.
And I've traveled there like 3 times to go get them.
Yep,
So,
same. Yep,
and it's a pain in the butt because you got to take the train and uh,
yeah,
but I but we do it. So
yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how that all develops. All right. Is there anything else that we haven't touched on that you think we should cover before I get this last piece of the puzzle?
um, I don't think so. I think we covered a lot. Really enjoyed getting to chat. feel like I've been talking to you for years. I've listened to um, who was I telling? I can't remember who I was talking to. Another podcaster. And I was like, if they were like, that's weird, but I was like, I've fallen asleep listening to you many times, many times. It's a weird thing, but yeah, I feel like I know everybody. So
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Like, you know, we talked about what keeps you playing. It's the city release aspect, and what keeps you going on a day-to-day basis. It really is the community sort of base. Even though, like myself, in the last 3 months, I've dialed back my involvement in all things Upland. Like, you, it would be probably 20 hours a week I've cut out of my Upland time.
oh
You
well,
know, before work, after work, that sort of stuff. Especially with, what was I doing? I think I was doing 3, 4 shows a week with different kind of things going on. But when I turn my Upland time on in the morning, the first thing I do is I'm checking the DMs, answering DMs, trying to at least keep up to speed what's going on in Upland general and that sort of stuff. So it's, for me personally, it is still those community connections that front loads everything else.
it's turned into absolutely love the community. There's actually a community member that's going through a tough time in our Discord, and never met the person, never talked to him in person, but man, it felt like a friend in need, Um, and so the community is like reaching out to help. Yeah, it's real. It's real friendships, real stuff. And then on top of that, it's with Sckicker, and I just come down, which we'll talk about later, but creating something cool.
Yes.
It's fun, and we got visions and goals and ideas, and trying to just make something that people like and enjoy, and brings them joy. That's kind of what it's evolved into for us. So
Absolutely. I kind of hinted at this when we got kicked off at the start, and we've kind of danced around it a little bit there. Community aspects, it's not always puppies and rainbows. Obviously, this is very tongue in cheek what's going on with you and Elslack. Speaking about give you a giggle, maybe you can speak to all of this. You've got a tweet here. Oh, it's on like Donkey Kong. What did he put? He's put this structure here and he's fenced it up and said it's a jail and that's where the Hyde Park Ninjas belong or something. What's going on here? And now we've got the payback.
so a little backstory. We got to meet Elslack in Vegas, and just great dude, and really really fun to hang out with. Uh, and then so it kind of developed a little friendship there, and then he's also kind of a uh, shit talker back and forth, which we enjoy.
Yep.
Having some fun. So he actually put a post on X about putting the ninjas where they belong in prison or something like that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that was,
Yeah.
and Upland shared it.
Yeah.
So Upland actually reposted it, and
Oh, that's
so
what. Yeah, that's here, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
as the kicker was like, "Hey, did you see what Upland posted?" And so I went and looked at it. So and then Sckicker went, and I guess this property, I can't remember if he had to work a deal or if it was for sale already, but he went and bought that
Oh,
property.
that's funny. Yeah.
And he's like, "Well," he goes, "Well, it's war now, so we got to set up our army." And yeah, I woke up and Sckicker had sent me like 30 trade offers for ninjas, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, I'm setting battle to Elslack," and I said, "Well, let's do it." And then just
That's funny.
the prison walls were all up, and then
Mm.
we didn't talk to him at all. Uh, so we set up our army, and then when we went on stream, some of the prison walls were gone, as if we were like torn down or something like that. So it was just a coincidence, but it was a lot of fun. So yeah, we have
That's
a
fun.
we have a metaverse battle going on, with the ninjas and Elslack, and it's pretty fun. It's been a good time.
Very good. Yeah, no, a lot going on there. And yeah, there's certainly plenty of characters in the space. That is for sure. Many of which, as you said, you've got to meet in person.
In person, and then yeah, a lot of them through your show, and uh, all the other. I won't try to list all the other broadcasters, but everybody else. Um, always love to see other people's perspectives and the way play the game. So
Absolutely. Well, very much appreciate your time today. This is good to get some insights a bit more into who you are and what you've got going on. Obviously, if you're a follower of the Hyde Park Ninja stream, you would get plenty of insights in that because you guys keep it about as real as it's possible to get. Although I will say it's nice to have as much as I love LSlack, it's not one of the podcasts that I can put on my Bluetooth speaker while I'm doing the dishes. So that's a headphones podcast, that one. So yeah, you guys
for sure.
tend to keep it family friendly, and I like you've kind of said it yourself too, a very kind of chilled perspective on things as well. You don't tend to get you're always, I'd say you're harsh but fair, but you're always very much in the glass half full category, if that's how you could put it down to.
Yeah, Swirly was making some comments on that. I don't even remember why, but yeah, we're playing a game, and some of the issues are serious, and they do need to be addressed, like 1,000%. Would never
Yep.
deny that, but at the end of the day, I personally have not put anything. If Upland disappeared tomorrow, I'll be fine. So I don't
Yep.
rely on Upland. I play it for fun. I love the community. I love hanging out with everybody. And I got other problems that are much more serious in real life. So it's hard for me to get worked up too much about some of this stuff, and just try to keep a. And I think owning your own business helps you realize too a lot of perspective on some decisions, and how things do take time, and maybe there's
Yep.
things we haven't thought about. So I try to bring that perspective sometimes. And Sckickers in the same boat, and just try to keep it positive. So life's too short to go on being a negative Nancy for too long. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
All right, mate. Well, yeah, if you're still listening, this is part 2 of what we've been saying is hopefully a 3-part series. Hopefully going to get both the boys back together to dive right into what they've got going on. Very cool amalgamation of what they've both got going on as far as in real life businesses, and finding some unique ways to transfer aspects of that into the metaverse and beyond, shall we say. So all right, mate,
Absolutely.
stick around and I'll have a bit of a quick chat on the back end. Other than that, thank you very much once again, and I'll leave the final words to you.
Thanks, Ben. I appreciate it. It's been a blast. Absolutely love it. And if you guys want to join the Discord, I'm sure there'll be some links, or just DM me in Discord or in game. Would love to have you.
All righty.